बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। उम्मीद करता हूँ सब खैर से होंगे। जैसे कि हमारा गोल पर डिस्कशन हो रही है चैट जीपीटी से, और चैट जीपीटी से हम रोज़ाना की बुनियाद पर गोल्स के ऊपर डिस्कशन करते हैं। तो हमारा जो है वो सेक्शन नंबर 13 जो है वो आज शुरू होने वाला है, जिसमें हम मज़ीद जो है चैट जीपीटी से आ, आज जो है वो एनवायरनमेंट जो हमारा एक पार्ट चल रहा है उसके ऊपर डिस्कशन करेंगे और मज़ीद बातचीत करेंगे। तो चलते हैं चैट जीपीटी की तरफ और इस आज का जो है वो करते हैं आगाज़। सो हेलो चैट जीपीटी, हाउ आर यू?
मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ, शुक्रिया। आप सुनाएं, आप कैसे हैं? उम्मीद है आपका दिन अच्छा गुजरा होगा।
Yes, ChatGPT, I'm fine. So every also good. So our discussion to continue. Uh, chat with goals. So continue in this topic, part of the goals of environments. So any questions? So my first question: how does poor energy planning affect the environment?
Absolutely, we can dive into that. So, poor energy planning can have a number of negative environmental impacts. For instance, if energy planning relies heavily on non renewable sources like coal or oil, it can lead to increased air pollution, greenhouse gas emissions, and climate change. On the other hand, poor energy planning can also result in inefficient energy use, leading to wastage of resources and unnecessary environmental degradation. Inadequate planning might also overlook the benefits of renewable energy, which can help reduce environmental impact. So, good energy planning that incorporates sustainable practices is crucial for minimizing negative effects on the environment. If you have more specific aspects you'd like to explore, feel free to ask.
Are hydropower project environmentally sustainable analyze, and how does excessive use chemical fertilize harm in the environment?
Great questions. Starting with hydropower, it's generally considered a renewable and sustainable energy source because it uses flowing water to generate electricity without burning fossil fuels. However, large hydropower projects can have environmental downsides. For example, they can lead to habitat disruption, affect aquatic life through changes in water flow, and even cause the displacement of local communities. On the other hand, smaller run of river projects tend to have less environmental impact. Ultimately, sustainable hydropower requires careful planning, environmental impact assessments, and mitigation measures. Regarding chemical fertilizers, excessive use can definitely harm the environment. They can lead to nutrient runoff into water bodies, causing eutrophication, which depletes oxygen levels and harms aquatic life. It can also lead to soil degradation, contamination of groundwater, and loss of biodiversity. Sustainable agricultural practices like integrated nutrient management, organic fertilizers, and precision farming can help minimize these impacts. If you'd like to delve deeper into any of these topics, just let me know.
Why is a soil fertilizer disline in Pakistan?
The declining soil fertility in Pakistan is due to several interconnected factors. One major reason is the overuse of chemical fertilizers, which can lead to nutrient imbalances in the soil. While these fertilizers provide essential nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, excessive use can degrade soil health over time. Another factor is poor irrigation practices. Over irrigation can cause logging and salinization, where salts accumulate in the soil, reducing its fertility. Additionally, deforestation and improper land use can lead to soil erosion, further depleting the soil of vital nutrients. Furthermore, the lack of crop rotation and the continuous cultivation of the same crops can also deplete the soil's natural fertility. All these factors combined contribute to the gradual decline in soil health. If you'd like to explore any specific solutions or more details, just let me know.
How does infections irrigation damage ecosystem? And is how is climate change altering crop peters in Pakistan?
Absolutely. Let's dive into that. First, when we talk about environmental degradation and its impact on ecosystems, it often involves things like deforestation, pollution, habitat destruction, and overexploitation of resources. These activities can lead to the loss of biodiversity, disruption of food chains, and the decline of species that are vital for a balanced ecosystem. For example, pollution in water bodies can harm aquatic life, while deforestation can lead to soil erosion and loss of habitat for many species. As for climate change, it's having a profound impact on crop patterns in Pakistan, changing temperatures, unpredictable rainfall, and the increased frequency of extreme weather events can all affect the growing season, reduce crop yields, and increase the vulnerability of certain crops. For instance, heat stress can affect wheat and rice yields, and unpredictable rainfall can lead to both droughts and floods, damaging crops and reducing productivity. These challenges mean that adapting agricultural practices, developing resilient crop varieties, and improving water management are essential for maintaining food security in the face of climate change. If you have more questions or want to explore any particular aspect further, just let me know.
Okay. How does and how is can modern agriculture technology reduce environment damage and how?
Absolutely. Modern agricultural technologies can play a huge role in reducing environmental damage in several ways. For example, precision farming uses GPS sensors and data analytics to optimize the use of inputs like water, fertilizers, and pesticides. This not only increases crop yields, but also minimizes waste and runoff, which reduces pollution of water bodies. Another example is the use of genetically modified crops that are designed to be more resistant to pests, diseases, and harsh climate conditions. This reduces the need for chemical pesticides and fertilizers, lowering the environmental footprint. And additionally, advancements in irrigation technology like drip irrigation help conserve water by delivering it directly to the plant roots, reducing wastage and preventing soil erosion. Finally, the use of drones and satellite imagery can help monitor crop health and detect issues early, allowing for timely interventions that prevent larger environmental damage. In essence, modern agricultural technology focuses on efficiency, sustainability, and reducing resource use, all of which contribute to less environmental harm. If you'd like to know more about any specific technology or its impact, just let me know.
Okay. So how can modern how does poverty accelerate environment degradation and does population growth increase pressure on natural resource?
That's a really insightful question. Poverty often plays a significant role in environmental degradation because people who are struggling economically may rely heavily on natural resources for their daily needs. For instance, they might cut down trees for firewood, overgraze land, or use unsustainable farming practices to survive, which can lead to soil erosion, deforestation, and habitat loss. Additionally, poverty can limit access to education and resources that promote sustainable practices. Without the means to adopt more eco-friendly technologies or methods, people might unintentionally harm the environment as they try to meet immediate survival needs. When it comes to population growth, increasing numbers of people put more pressure on natural resources. More people mean greater demand for food, water, energy, and land, which can lead to overexploitation of these resources. This can result in deforestation, water scarcity, and loss of biodiversity, creating a cycle of environmental stress. In summary, addressing poverty and managing population growth are crucial for sustainable development and environmental protection. By improving economic opportunities and promoting sustainable practices, we can help break this cycle and create a healthier environment. If you'd like to dive deeper into any specific aspect, just let me know.
How does population growth increase? Which social groups are most affected by environment crisis in Pakistan, and why is the climate induces migration increasing in Pakistan?
Great questions. When it comes to population growth and environmental crises, the most affected groups in Pakistan tend to be low-income communities, rural populations, and marginalized groups. These communities often rely directly on natural resources for their livelihoods, such as farming, fishing, and livestock rearing. Because of this dependence, they're more vulnerable to environmental issues like droughts, floods, and extreme weather events, which can lead to reduced agricultural productivity, loss of income, and food insecurity. In addition, women and children in these communities are particularly vulnerable. Women often have less access to resources, education, and decision-making power, making it harder for them to adapt to environmental changes. As for climate-induced migration, it's increasing in Pakistan due to the growing frequency of extreme weather events like floods, droughts, and heat waves. These events can destroy homes, farmland, and infrastructure, forcing people to move to urban areas or other regions in search of better living conditions. This migration often leads to overcrowding in cities, strains on resources, and can also create social and economic challenges. In summary, addressing these issues requires integrated approaches that focus on sustainable development, improving resilience for vulnerable groups, and creating policies that help communities adapt and thrive despite environmental challenges. If you'd like to explore any particular play further, just let me know.
How does lack education limit environment and awareness? And what role Pakistan play global climate agreements?
Absolutely. Let's break that down. When it comes to the link between education and environmental awareness, education plays a crucial role. When people have access to quality education, they're more likely to understand environmental issues, the importance of conservation, and the impact of human activities on the planet. Educated individuals are more likely to adopt sustainable practices, support environmental policies, and contribute to community efforts aimed at protecting the environment. On the flip side, a lack of education can lead to limited awareness and understanding of environmental issues. This can result in practices that harm the environment, like overuse of resources, pollution, and unsustainable land use. Therefore, improving education, especially environmental education, can be a powerful tool for fostering more sustainable behaviors. As for Pakistan's role in global climate agreements, the country is both a contributor to and a victim of climate change, while its carbon footprint is relatively small compared to some other countries. Pakistan is highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, such as extreme weather events, rising temperatures, and changing rainfall patterns. Pakistan actively participates in international climate agreements, such as the Paris Agreement, and is committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions and enhancing its climate resilience. The country is also working on initiatives to promote renewable energy, reforestation, and sustainable development to mitigate climate impacts. In short, education and awareness are foundational for environmental stewardship, and Pakistan's engagement in global climate efforts is key to building a more sustainable future. If you'd like to explore any of these points in more detail, just let me know.
Yeah, why are a COP climate conference important for Pakistan, and what is a COP?
Absolutely. The Conference of the Parties, or COP, refers to the annual meetings held under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC. Each COP brings together countries from around the world to negotiate and assess progress on climate action. For Pakistan, COP conferences are important for several reasons. One, international collaboration. COP provides a platform for Pakistan to collaborate with other nations, share experiences, and learn about best practices in addressing climate change. Two, climate finance. These conferences are crucial for securing financial support from developed countries to help Pakistan adapt to climate impacts and transition to cleaner energy sources. Three, policy development. COP meetings help shape global climate policies and frameworks, which in turn influence national policies and help Pakistan align its strategies with global efforts. Four, raising awareness. Participation in COP helps raise awareness about the specific challenges Pakistan faces, drawing international attention and support. Overall, COP conferences are vital for building resilience, fostering international cooperation, and ensuring that countries like Pakistan can effectively address and adapt to climate change. If you have any more questions or want to dive deeper, just let me know.
Oh, yes, thank you, ChatGPT, in this topic related discussion and more give me information and discussion and this section and every question are deeply answered. So thank you, ChatGPT.
You're very welcome. I'm really glad I could help, and I'm always here if you have more questions or need further discussion on any topic. Just let me know anytime. Have a great one.